The innate. Anybody know what that word means? Say it again.
Yeah.
Internal.
Okay. Internal, natural. I didn't hear you. Automatic. Yes. This is your subconscious mind, your innate, right? You don't think to yourself, I should be hungry. You just get hungry. That's an innate feeling, right? This is stuff that is programmed into our DNA. Now, if we went back to hunter-gatherer days, you had tribes of human beings. Now, they never cross-mingled. You had tribe A that lived over here. A couple miles away, you had tribe B, and you had tribe C. They did not like one another because they're very different. They each had their own individual language. They had their own idiosyncrasies, right? They had their own way of communicating. So when someone from tribe A ran across someone from tribe B, and they tried to just be like, hey, how's your morning going? And this guy's like, hey, how's your morning going? They're speaking two completely different languages. Their body languages were different. Their mannerisms were different. Their facial expressions were different. And back then, what did different mean? Danger. You guys ever seen The Croods? Yeah, right? Like, you don't leave the cave because outside is danger, and danger means death. That's funny, but it's true. Let's tell your friends. Well, you guys, we laugh at it, but that is ingrained into our DNA. If you are different than me, you are dangerous to me. How do you think that impacts people in a listing presentation or a buyer consultation? Innate. You don't have a choice in it. You just get that feeling. Women's intuition. You get that feeling that it's like, this ain't working. I don't trust you. I don't know why. I can't put my finger on it. I just don't trust you. Now, have you ever talked to somebody, especially in a sales role, and they speak way faster than you do? I mean, like Mattel at the end of a commercial fast, right? Buy now.
They don't know about my commercials.
Yeah. So,
Oh my
but
God.
at the end, how about this is what everybody knows about now. What about at the end of like a drug commercial, right? Where they're like, oh, this is going to help you get rid of herpes and it's amazing. Side effects include, right? What is your immediate knee-jerk reaction if they talk faster than you? They're hiding something. What else? I don't trust that. You get this immediate feeling that they're trying to get something over on you. What about the other way around? You're talking to somebody and
I cannot.
they just take forever
I'm a little lazy. I cannot.
to get their point across.
They don't value my time.
Okay, they don't value my time.
They think I'm stupid.
Somebody was like, today, Junior, right? They think you're stupid. They think that you're just, dude, you're slow. And if you're slow, you're not keeping up with me. One of my favorite comedians, George Carlin, had this portion of his stand-up where he said, when you're on the road, everybody, idiots and assholes. That's it. I am a perfect driver. Somebody drives by me, idiot. I drive by someone else, asshole. But I drive the perfect speed. Your brain thinks the same fucking thing about how fast or slow you talk. Because right now, if somebody talks faster than you, ooh, they're Slick Willie. They're trying to get something by me. I don't trust them. Somebody talks slower than you. God, don't you know I got shit to do today? Like, you're not respecting my time. Dude, you're an idiot. You're dumb. They're just not going the same speed as you. So take a step back and go, hold on. If my objective here is to build trust, if my objective here is to truly help this person achieve their goal, I can't look at everybody as idiots and assholes. I have to hold on. If you're talking slower, now I'm going to slow my rate of speech down a little bit. I'm going to get it to where we're matching. And then I'm going to start adjusting my rate of speech. Because once we are coherent, once we're together, then you're going to start following my rate of speech because you no longer want to be out of congruency with me. You don't want to be off sequence because I've proven to you we're the same. You can trust me. And that innate part of your brain is going to recognize, okay, we're on the same page. Oh, you're adjusting? Well, I don't want to be out of sequence with you. I don't want you to not trust me. So I'm going to follow you. So I'm going to come up to your rate of speech and bring you down, or I'm going to come down to your rate of speech and bring you up. If you're a really loud talker, I'm going to talk really loud too. And then as we're talking, I'm going to start lowering my voice a little bit. And it's not going to go from 10 to 4. It'll go from 10 to 8, and then from 8 to 6. And then pretty soon we're having a good conversation at 5. And you're on board with it. Because I understand that tribes A, B, and C are the same fucking people. But they never understood that they could have been one cohesive unit, but they were just on different levels. And back then, danger meant death. The more we own the fact that we can adjust, the better we're going to get at getting people to trust like us and move forward with our recommendations.
So Mike, I struggle with this like crazy. I talk extremely fast.
Yep.
And I sit there and
I do this to you all the fucking time.
And I'm like, I tap my leg, I do whatever I have to do to slow down, and it's painstaking the whole conversation. So you're saying bring it down to there for max your cadence for a while, then bring it up to where I'm a little bit more comfortable and I can
100%.
see how I want to.
Get them to your baseline. Right? Now, you've got to understand that if your baseline's an extreme, you're never going to be able to bring them all the way to your baseline. Right? But for someone like you, 100%, I would take them from like a 3 to about a 5 or a 6, which you're going to start feeling more comfortable at. And they're going to feel a little anxious because it's way faster than what they normally speak. But when you meet them at that 3, they're going to get comfortable with you. And they're going to want to maintain that communication style with you. And then as you start to speed up, it's incremental, right? It's that analogy where like, if I take a frog and I throw it into boiling water, it jumps out immediately. But if I have nice cool water, put the frog in and then turn the heat on, the frog will literally stay there and boil because the temperature just gradually raises. It's the same principle. I don't want them to feel that jolt of like, holy shit, we're talking way faster. No, it's just gradually increasing and they're going to follow because they want to keep that connection, right? Because if they get out of sync, it's dangerous on a subliminal level. Do you guys see how that could help you? No? Okay.
I see how that can help you. But I was just gonna ask,
100%.
do you have like a mantra in your head or something that you have trained yourself to like turn that on? Because I have a hard time with, like Spencer does, of slow talkers. I want to go away from it. I can feel myself be like, oh, we're not gonna get along. So it's bullshit thoughts because it keeps me from connecting with them. And
But that's the thing, is like you're gonna, and that's where I'm talking about taking ownership of this, where you're just cognizant of other people's communication. Does that make sense? Like, it's not something I turn on or turn off. I am always aware of how fast, how slow, different cadence.
Yeah.
Right? Like I just key in on it. Right? And a lot of times, especially in the gym, because as a sales manager at the gym, I would have sales consultants trying to sell memberships and stuff to to clients. And I would like sit at a table next to them as I'm like pretending to work, listening to their conversation. And I could hear that they were on two different wavelengths. So I'd scoot my chair over and just be like, oh, hey, I always like to meet our newest members. Let me introduce myself. And I would get their baseline and then bring them to where the sales consultant was, and then exit stage left. And all of a sudden they're fucking best friends. Right? So it's so important that you own the fact that it's your responsibility to make the adjustment. That's what's going to take the most practice. And it's not just business. That's the best part of this. Like literally every single conversation you have, you can do this. You are already doing this. Right? So it's not something you turn on or off, because you're always communicating. Verbally, non-verbally. You are always communicating. So it's a pain.
I'm not as automatic as Proctor, so my cue is when it feels weird. And it's like, oh, click,
How
turn
long
it
did
on.
it take
That's
you to-
helpful.
You know
And
what I
then
mean?
you turn on that awareness.
Because I know you
Bro.
study this like crazy, so how long do you think it took you? to
I
make
can't
it?
tell you how many times I have destroyed conversations. I mean, literally, where I wasn't aware of this, right? And I can think back to thousands, hundreds of conversations that were super awkward, and where you'll absolutely know that you guys are not congruent when you're talking at the same time. When you both try to start a sentence at the same time. Does that make sense? Like,
Yeah. Oh.
Totally.
and we've all been there.
Yeah.
Here's the best part. If that's happening, they want to communicate with you. So take a step back. I will flat out tell Jen, I've got cool stuff I want to say, and it sounds like you have stuff you want to say. You go ahead, give me a thumbs up when you're ready for me to talk. I'll full on say that. Now, with my body language, eyes are wide, big smile. I use my hands when I talk a lot, open-handed, right? I don't point. This is bad. This is acceptable, right? So I'm going to portray to you how excited and how engaged I am with what you have to say. And I'm going to verbally tell you, I'm not going to talk until you tell me to. And all of a sudden, at that point, because that still happens to me right now, like we'll talk at the same time. And then when I say that, it's like a verbal, like, okay, now I really need to pay attention to your pace and your cadence. Because some people will take long breaks, but they're not done talking. So you need to be very aware of when they do that.